My name is Cortland Cox.
Bruce Hartford.
Claiborne Carson.
Larry Rubin.
Marion Barry.
Harris Walford.
Diane McDougall.
Jonathan Prince.
Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton.
Julian Bond.
Karen Mulhauser.
Janice Farabee.
Lucia Hatch.
Timothy Jenkins.
Peter Yarrow.
Dr. Clarence B. Jones.
Sasha Ruther.
My name is Joyce Latner, and I was a witness to the March on Washington.
We didn't begin with the March on Washington. We began with one woman sitting down in Montgomery, and when she was told to get up to make room for a white man, it began with lawyers who went to court and who in many ways were the real face of the movement for years. It began with the formation of the NAACP in the early part of the 20th century. It began when blacks insisted that the labor movement integrate its ranks, and it did.
Every time we stepped outside the Freedom House, which is what we call the residences, police would arrest us.
Frederick Douglass had said that the power concedes nothing without a demand. It never has and it never will. That's the reality, that if you want social change, you have to get in the mix, you have to get your hands dirty, you may have to get them bloodied, you may have to also suffer setbacks. You will not be approved of, you will not be applauded by everybody, but you have to be committed.
If anybody can be called the architect and organizer of the march and the initiator of the march, it was Bayard Rustin. It was his thing.
The March on Washington was A. Philip Randolph and Bayard. They were the drivers of the discussion.
I do believe that a lot of the people, in addition, that my father hung around with, were more into A. Philip Randolph and the whole union piece and the jobs piece.
And remember, the march was called a March for Jobs and Freedom. The UAW in particular, and a few other service unions, were beginning to help finance the civil rights movement.
So when you can tie in jobs, it brings in workers from the North that could come down in March and feel that this is all a sort of, as he would call, a moral crusade. And the UAW was very sort of instrumental in helping the March on Washington.
As we come down off of the bridge to where it touches land, there's a crowd of people there waving highway flares. And they got signs, "We're with you, go with God, we shall overcome." It still chokes me up.
It brings tears to my eyes to think about it. They were applauding the buses as they moved into Washington.
My father met at Penn Station in Manhattan with other union members. They all rode down on the Amtrak into Union Station.
I remember seeing hundreds and hundreds of other buses. It's hard to still.
The revelation for me was the sense of national convergence. It was like I was back among friends for the first time. Back among friends for the first time.
I went out early on the day of the march, August 28th, to the mall, and there was literally no one there. I mean, Bayard and I were on the mall, there was literally no one. And now Bayard was the one who said, "God, you think anybody's coming to this thing?" And just as he said that, some young people from NAACP from Virginia came into view.
In that march on Washington, I didn't believe, as far as the eye could see, people, a sea of people.
I think you generally see people there and then people around the pool, but there were people in trees and all sorts of things.
When I looked out at a sea of people, my heart was just gratified. My spirit was just uplifted.
He made this really audacious decision before the largest audience that he'll ever face in his life, deciding, oh, I'm at the end of my 7 minutes, maybe I should add something to it.
Whatever Zeus is supposed to sound like in Greek mythology, this is the closest you get to Zeus speaking from the mountain. It was mesmerizing.
we in SNCC stood there and crossed arms and sang "We Shall Overcome" together.
I felt that this was the real America, the America of ideals.
You as young people will know how you can be a part of making the world a better, fairer, more equitable place. This is your instruction manual.
And if this country is in need of some changes even today, and I believe that it is, it will not be changed by old people. It will be changed, as the world has always been changed, by young, gifted, articulate, magnetic young people.
If I had a hammer, I'd a hammer in the morning, a hammer in the evening, all over this land. Hammer out danger, and hammer out a warning, a hammer out love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land. Well, I got a hammer, and I got a bell, and I got a song to sing all over this land. It's the hammer of justice, the bell of freedom, and the song about the love between my brothers and my sisters, all over this land.
It was just a wonderful, wonderful occasion, and I'm sorry you weren't there, because you would have enjoyed it.